This is the Whole Care Network, helping you tell your story one podcast at a time. Content presented in the following podcast is for information purposes only. Views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the host and guest and may not represent the views and opinions of the Whole Care Network. Always consult with your physician for any medical advice, and always consult with your attorney for any legal advice. And thank you for listening to the Whole Care Network.
Welcome, my dear friend. This is A Time to Care the Caregivers podcast, and I am your host, Isabel Melgarejo. Today with us, we have Judy Swanson. She is the founder and CEO of Kindness Champions, which mission is to bring more compassion, kindness, and joy to everybody. They are a great believer on highlighting beautiful stories. She's also the biggest champion for mental health issues. Welcome, Judy.
Oh, thank you so much, Isabel. It's so good to see you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Me too, because I know that you want to start a podcast as well.
Yes, one day.
No better day than tomorrow.
That's right. You're funny. Thank you, though, for having me. I'm excited. And to all the caregivers out there listening to this, my hats off to you. It's incredibly hard, yet what you're doing is such beautiful work. And I just honor all of you.
Thank you so much. So tell us a little bit more about your company.
So I'm a social worker. I'm honored to be a social worker. I stumbled into it many years ago in college and fell in love with people and their courage and bravery and how I was part of them working to get to a better place in their lives. And Kindness Champions was one of those little thoughts and ideas that just kept popping up as life went along, and it kept popping up that I wanted to do something beyond. I do therapy. I worked in the school system. I've worked with families. I work with adults, yet I wanted to do something in addition. And it kept popping up in ways I could get more information to people in the world, yet also highlight all the beautiful, positive things going on around the world, people doing them, organizations doing them, and also to get information back to people about little tips and hacks they can do to feel better in their lives. And I'm big into brains, I'm big into research. And eventually, what came out of this is Kindness Champions. And I call myself the CKO, which is the Chief Kindness Officer.
No.
Yes. And our mission is to celebrate everyone's awesomeness by being kind to themselves and others. And there's a few initiatives I have is on social media. I post positive. I share stories of people doing good. I post nice, helpful, strength-based quotes. And I post information about how you can either be kinder in your lives or kinder to yourselves and help your mental health information. I have a postcard project where I have a little show and tell, yet this is one of the postcards that I send out randomly to people and organizations all over the US of A, just sharing some positivity to people. And I also do spotlight stories where I interview people from all over the world who are taking action to help others in this world. And the purpose of that is twofold. It's to shine the light on the person or organization and also to show people that there's all these positive things going on in the world because sometimes not sometimes, our news can be very negatively biased. And I want to spotlight all the good going on. So those are some of the initiatives I have with Kindness Champions.
I think your initiative is so good because anybody, it doesn't have to be a caregiver, anybody in this world go and read the news and then it's just like all dread.
Yes.
I follow this comedian and she was flying to Vancouver and then she wrote, and now I wish I was more religious now that it is common that planes fall.
Right. That's funny.
And yeah, I was, and it like obviously she's a comedian and she's gonna find ways to laugh about things in life. But if we are just bombarded by all this negative news all the time, like we need a sparkle of joy. And I also think that with mental health, just putting all these negative thoughts around, it's just not good. So what do you recommend people to go through to avoid mental health issues?
Well, sometimes you can avoid mental health issues, yet there's very important things you can do to help yourself cope and deal with mental health issues. There's this thing called neuroplasticity, and it's in our brains, and it means our brains can create new neural pathways, and it's neurons that fire together, wire together.
Mhm.
So you can create a more positive mindset. Gratitude has been shown by every research out there. If you have a daily practice of gratitude, where you count the things you're grateful for, even when you're super stressed, even when you're dealing with mental health or a different health situation, gratitude, those neurons are firing together and they wire together, and then you feel better and more. It builds resiliency in your life. Doing acts of kindness, not just for yourself, for others, your brain responds. So when you do that, your brain, it's an automatic thing. When you smile, even it's that fake smiling like this, your brain is responding in positive ways. It can't help itself. The brain will follow the body. The old, power pose, we used to talk about the Wonder Woman power pose. Your brain will respond with all these powerful chemicals and hormones. So I just say when people are coping with life, whether it's mental health or stressors, there's things they can do to feel better about themselves. And you mentioned joy. I don't know, Isabel, if you ever saw the movie Monsters Incorporated.
Oh yes,
Yes,
I love it.
yes, isn't it? And what they found at the end, it was laughter that created the same kind of energy. In the beginning, they were, making energy through scaring children. And what they realized is
Mhm.
giggles and laughing and joy, it created that energy. So it's important to have those moments of feeling good and some joy or noticing nature. I'm in the Rochester, New York area, and it's been snowing for days. And I'm looking outside, and it's these beautiful snowflakes out there that if you just watch them, it kind of takes your breath away for a moment.
I remember when I lived in Saskatoon, the windows would get so frozen you wouldn't be able to open them. And I would take pictures for my family, like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm betting you don't have eyes around your windows."
Right. Right. It's magical though.
Totally magical, and I don't know for what reason we grew up and all the awe from the world is gone. For whatever reason, we don't stop.
Right.
We're on the go all the time, and we don't take the time to stop and pay attention to the snowflakes.
And when you take time to, right, notice the snowflakes, and we have the time to do it, even though it doesn't seem like it, once again, it helps your brain, it helps your body, it helps your well-being. You feel a little peppier. Like, think about us. We're talking about snowflakes and windows being frozen over, which is a really cool thing. So the time is there when you take those moments and you just say, I'm going to take a minute and notice this. That helps you.
I think for a lot of people is how they perceive things. Yesterday, I was talking with my nephew. He was telling me that some of his friends have mentioned that he's very direct.
I love me some direct.
And I told him, like, I've had those same comments coming to me all the time. Are you being rude? And his answer was no. And I was like, well, if you're not being rude, disrespectful, then it's their problem.
Right. Yet, what a great thing he could come to you and ask these curious questions. Right. Like, what a
Yeah.
great, right. That's a beautiful thing. And what a great, I call them reframes you shared with him. Like, it's great he could approach you and bring up this thing he was, struggling with and could talk it through. I love that.
Yeah, I find it, and I talk with my brother often, and he's always like, "Thank you for being the voice of advice." And I was like, "Okay."
All right. I will anytime. You're like a Jiminy Cricket out there, right? That little
Yeah,
person you can talk to.
and it's all about perspective because you're talking, and we're talking about winter. I'm in Texas. It is cold, but not as bad. And some people dread the winter, dread the cold, dread, oh, it's snowing again. I have to clean my
Mhm.
porch or clear the whatever it is. And, and instead, you can just enjoy the magic of it.
Yes, and it's hard to shift. You talk about the dread mindset versus the joy of it, or maybe I can do this, right? So there's this great, powerful phrase like, I get to. And I read about this a while ago and the psychology behind it. Yet think about it, you get to clear your driveway. You have the health, or you have a shovel, you have the means, you can go outside, you can breathe and be in this thing. You get to do things. And when you approach life, and it takes practice, this is not an automatic thing. It's not automatic for me. I had to do some work on myself to get to a place where always was positive, and yet to change my growth mindset to get to a place to understand my process is different from other people's, and it's working at it. Yet the more I worked at myself, the better I felt, the more positive I became.
Mhm.
Yet so I don't want anybody listening to this to think it's automatic. It doesn't just, you say it once and it's like magic, even though that would be great. Yet when you use the phrase I get to, it changes your brain, and your brain's like, oh, I get you, versus I have to, right? I have to shovel my driveway. Feels, if you're like, I get to, there's a little boost, there's a little pep, there's a little, oh, okay, I get to do this.
And you can even you even have the liberty to choose if you're doing it or not. You can
Yeah.
choose not
Shovel
to do
your driveway,
anything.
right? You can shovel, right? You can choose to say, you know what, I have to go somewhere. I do not want to shovel my driveway, and I'm just going to drive through the snow. You can choose to do that.
Yeah, or not leave home.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you think, like, from sharing all these stories, what do you think is the biggest impact?
I feel like the biggest impact is that sense of there's rays of hope for people. I feel like the other impact is either in their communities or around the world, that awareness that there's actions you can take in your life to help others. It doesn't have to be starting a nonprofit. I did a spotlight interview today, and a woman started doing this project that developed into a nonprofit. Yet it doesn't always go that way, to say there's actions I can take in my daily life to better the lives of others through kindness and compassion. And kindness and compassion is one of those wraparound things. When you're doing for others, you're always going to get some joy and benefits. So I feel like it's sparks of hope. It gives people some activation and empowerment that
Mhm.
I can take an action to somebody near me and do something. So I feel like those are some of the key pieces that come from it.
That's so awesome. So what are some stories that have changed completely your perspective about something?
I say all because they're all so different, yet it's just been great learning. Like people fascinate me. Like they started with these, small things, and then they become these bigger, many organizations. So I just like people fascinate me. One of my stories is a tattoo artist, yet he gives back to community with the money he makes, and he spotlights different organizations, and he chooses to take the money he's making in tattooing, not all of it, part of it is his living, and give back. It's these people always finding a way to give back, and they're varied. There's a woman who started a nonprofit caring for dogs who had cleft palates and disabilities, and people doing rescuing of animals. Or there's one called the Human Library, and it's all over the world. This person started, well, you can go and read a human book of somebody different from you and learn about them. So I just always learn. Or somebody in the Rochester, New York area started a nonprofit and interviews all the student athletes in the schools, and it's called Section 5, and shares their story and joys and cheers for everybody. So I just always am fascinated by people, and I always learn pieces from them because they're all doing different things, yet it's all amazing, and it's all to benefit others. I think that's pretty cool.
So what do you recommend people like when they're dealing with mental health issues? I think you know when you're dealing with that. And I can say that because I've been in dark places before.
Mhm.
You kind of know that you're not in the right place.
Yes.
Obviously, they can go and read wonderful stories. What else do you recommend?
So if somebody, and I'm going to also though speak for mental health, but I speak for caregivers out there who that stress will create, most likely, I won't say definitely, like stress, depression, anxiety, right? What do I do? So I just say for anybody, first off, it's paying attention to basic things. Are you drinking enough water? Being dehydrated hurts your brain, hurts your body. Are you getting some nutritional value in the food you eat? For some people, when they're stressed, we go to those comfort foods, right? Big piles of carbohydrates and different things like that. I get that. Yet, are you having some nutritional value in your day? Are you getting some movement? Are you taking a walk? Are you stretching? Stretching is movement. So, are you doing something like that? Nature, more and more, and this is more in other countries in the US of A, when people are going in and so struggling with mental health and different things, people are advising prescriptions to go out in nature, because nature, once again, these are scientifically proven things. When you go for a walk in nature or you sit outside and you listen to the birds or the wind, it has an automatic coping, calming mechanism on your brain. And I'm not talking about doing any of this for hours, because some people that feels more stressful. I'm saying you set your timer for 2 minutes or 1 minute if you're like, I'm going to take a minute breath. So, those are some of the other things people can do that are very important to deal with any mental health issues that may be present. I always encourage people to go talk to their doctor if it becomes chronic, or you're just like, I'm feeling out of sorts. Sometimes your body could be off. It could be a vitamin deficiency or something else. So I say include your medical provider in discussions, and then decide for some, are you like, I need some therapy, I need a neutral person to talk this through with. Maybe yes, maybe not. Maybe what's going on is attached to something else. So there's many things, yet there's many things embedded in our daily lives that can help us feel better.
I love it all of it. And I think I've done some of it. Yeah, I agree with all these sugary foods. Like every time I have a stressful day, it's okay, I'm just gonna have 300 chocolates.
Yeah, yes, and like maybe 30 chocolates, but then when you get to the 300, right? Yet it's all those things in front of us that are there, yet it's also being disciplined about it. It's having some sort of not routine, yet it's doing it consistently. Because consistency is key to it. Because you do something once and then it feels better, which is great. And then our habits, right? We regress into those old habits. So in saying, how can I build a new habit with this? Because it's just going to help me feel better.
Of course. So where can people find you? Where can people learn more about you, follow you, read all these amazing stories?
So kindnesschampions.com is the website. I'm on all social media, or Kindness Champions is on all social media, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter or X. I'm on LinkedIn under my name, and there's a Kindness Champions page on LinkedIn for anybody on that. And it's follow if it floats your boat. If not, find other people sharing positive news on social media. There are others. I'm not the only one. Look for people that are sharing once again, that positive information. Because when you read a positive story, you're just going to feel better. So if
Mhm.
you know, what I'm doing doesn't feel right for you, that's totally cool. Find other people in it that's going to share some positive information that's going to be helpful to you. Or you could be watching videos about baby goats. Some people like watching, right? Right? Or kittens or something like that. Like those things just make you feel better. Look, we talk about baby goats and you just feel better. There's this one my daughter sent me, she's on TikTok, and it's this organization, and some of the dogs they have in their organization are in wheelchairs, right? Those ones they can pull, those cars. And it's a picture of them going through snow. They have a sled going for a walk in their, doggy kind of wheelchairs. And then this one dog's in his, but there's another dog pulling him. I was just spellbound. And I was like, my God, that's so beautiful. So it's finding, you can follow Kindness Champions, yet if there's other things you follow, find that for you. Do something for you.
Yeah, I agree. We need to start paying more attention to positive news, and because otherwise it's just all dread.
It's right. You go back to the dread, yet it's the positive news is out there. And once again, with social media, you can adjust your algorithm by what you choose to follow and watch. And it's just know you do have that power on my feeds because of who I watch, not just who I follow, but the videos I tend to hover over or watch are ones sharing these either mental health information or positive stories, or some organizations out there doing amazing things. So now my algorithms, I have adjusted to that. And it just, once again, it creates a better mindset, improves your well-being. And I go back to you work with caregivers. They have enough stress going on. And sometimes the simple thing is to doom scroll, yet these other things will give them a little joy. Or you watch babies laughing on some of these videos, or puppies, or, the baby cows, and you just feel better.
I started watching the news through comedians,
Mhm.
and it changed everything in my life. I'm still getting informed of what's happening out there, but it's very different reading Bloomberg and having the very fact check. This happened, and there is 300 deaths or whatever, than listening to a comedian talk about the same topic, but just making fun of it.
Right. And think about it. It's that Monsters Inc. mindset. Then your brain's like, this is so funny. And then you feel better. You feel more motivated in your life to
Yeah.
do whatever it is. I love that you do that. There's this TED talk, and this woman talks about stress, people with enormous stress in their lives. And what the research has shown is when people are super stressed, when they're doing kindness for others, their stress will not have a negative impact on their physical health. So when
So
people going
interesting.
through hugely stressful times, like you talk, you now get informed, get in a positive way. And you laugh and you giggle and your brain goes, thank you, thank you, thank you. When you do kindness, when you're going through stressful things, your body and well-being will say, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming with us today. It was such a pleasure. We're gonna link all your information to the show notes so people can find you, can go and listen to you. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna have such a delightful moment while
Great.
following you.
And if you want to share my email, please feel free to do it in case anybody has additional questions that I can try to answer.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was great talking with you.
This is the Whole Care Network. Helping you tell your story one podcast at a time.